welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green, and it is Wednesday, but it's not just any Wednesday. It is Wednesday the 13th. Well, no, it's Wednesday the 12th, and the birthday of Wednesday 13. I think I got that right. I'm just so excited about his birthday. I'm at a loss for words, but it is Wednesday the 12th and the celebration of Wednesday the 13th. We are going to kick off the birthday celebrations with Wednesday the 13th on Wednesday the 12th, right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there to waste time with you. All right, the birthday boy himself, Wednesday 13. How are you, Wednesday?
Old. I'm old.
Wednesday, the worst question that people ask on birthdays, it's a stupid question, is, do you feel any different?
I don't. And it's only because I have a Wednesday 13 vomit bag.
Mm.
Just in case I get sick from old age, I can just just like that.
It is fascinating that it is the 12th, but you are the 13th.
I
You were
know,
so
right?
close.
I know. I was so close. My mom was almost she almost did it right, but
Yeah.
close
Well,
enough is what I say.
it's been a month-long celebration anyway.
It has been.
50 is a big one. I'll be honest with you. 50 was a little stressful to me. Um, and then after that, you just go, I'm old, whatever. I had to think about how old I am right now. You just start to forget again. But Wednesday feels like, they call it midlife, but I'm not living to 100. You know what I mean? This is the final chapter.
It's the final chapter. We're in the last half of if life's a pie chart, we're in the last piece of the pie chart.
And you don't eat pie.
Not yet. Maybe that's the key to get one more piece of pie. If I eat
That
pie, I can prolong my life.
Well, at 50 years old, you can stretch and you can kick, as we know.
Hmm.
50 is definitely an interesting one. And you don't look 50. You got that going
No,
for you.
I don't. I hear that constantly when people do check my ID when I'm at the airport flying back from Europe. They're like, "What? You're this old?" So it's
Mhm.
no one has ever went up to me with, "Oh my God, you look 50." If anyone ever guessed my age, it's always you're late 30s, early 40s, maybe. And then some people try to be super nice and go, "You're in your 20s," and I'm like, "You're blind," but thank you.
I don't hear you complain a lot about aches and pains and things that I complain about. And then you go on that stage and you definitely put out a full workout.
Yeah, I did it this weekend. I went for it, and it wasn't a whole lot of. There wasn't a whole lot of uh, preparation for it. Like I don't do what this morning I was watching behind the scenes Roadhouse, and before every fight scene, Patrick Swayze's doing this. He's doing this. He's doing stretches. I don't remember to do any of that stuff. I'm just kind
Mhm.
of walking back and forth, pacing and going, "Oh, what am I going to say?" Making sure my voice works. I'll stretch my neck a little bit, but no matter how much stretching I do, I go on stage and I just go bananas, or as the kids say, ape shit.
Is
And
that what the kids say?
that's what the kids used to say. Maybe they don't say it
Yeah, I was going
anymore.
to say, well, you're showing your
Uh,
age.
yeah, ape shit. And I usually feel it the following day. So after the very first show, I'm like, oh, my neck's a little sore, and I feel it a little, but nothing. It isn't like I just wake up with aches and pains not due to something. So if you go on stage and do what I do, I think almost at any age you're going to get a little sore neck and things like that. But no, I feel good for my age. I don't. I don't feel 50. I don't like saying it. It sounds weird.
Hmm.
But just to prove that I'm not getting older in my brain, I got myself the best. I showed you a photo of it, but I got my favorite birthday gifts so far.
Hmm.
And there's still more to come. So, as everyone knows, the Cobra Commander is like my spirit animal. He's like one of my favorites. I have the mask, but I found this company or this dude, and you see this gun we got here, right? The Cobra Commander gun, which as a child I thought this looks kind of like a hair dryer, kind of. I don't know, but that's the Cobra Commander's gun. But for my birthday, I was looking online and I found this dude that made life size Cobra Commander guns, pistols, as they say. And these are not real boys and girls. They're not able to shoot red lasers. But look how cool that is.
It is incredibly cool.
I just
Uh,
feel cool sitting back, just like walk into meetings, go, you guys gonna book me or what? How much money we talking?
I feel like you just watch TV at home with it in your hands like that.
It
Just
looks just how cool is this? And it came on a stand that you can display it. And I gotta be honest with you, this is one of the coolest gifts I've gotten, especially for myself. So
Wednesday.
now I can I
I
can
got to
re-
I got to tell you, you're a hard man to shop for. Last week you weren't here. My friend Jason sat in, and we were discussing it. And I said, I don't know what the hell to get you because anything you want, you've even gotten yourself or someone has sent it to you. And so
Mhm.
you are a very tough customer. And I should say, in all transparency to people watching this, that as you're watching it, I am in Los Angeles celebrating your birthday with you, and that is great. And I'm looking forward to it. It's become a tradition Wednesday. I think the last couple years I've been out there on your
Yeah,
birthday.
that's right. That's right. We did didn't we went out for BJ's last time.
That we did, and
Celebratory
I mean,
the BJ's.
a lot of guys like to bond and head out for BJ's, and we
Hmm.
did, and that was a good experience. But this year we're going to top it because this is the big one, the big 5-0.
That's what I hear. I don't know much about it. I just know that I'm going somewhere tomorrow. So
Yes,
I,
and I'm
I
looking.
wonder if they'll allow me to bring this in. This is my birthday. So it's a hair
You
dryer.
could smuggle it in, I think. Mhm. I think you could smuggle in. I should say that Sean wanted to join us, but it's crazy. Convention season is crazy. And so he wasn't able to get here. We were
I get
recording
it.
this the day before, but you could still leave your birthday messages for Wednesday in the comments and then he will read them afterwards. So you just got back from the Jolly UK, right? Is that where you were?
Yes. Yes. We were
You,
there
you
for just a week, a quick trip this time.
You sent me a picture of your accommodations on the bus, and this looks like something I could do. I always say, boy, tour life on buses and bunks and all that shit and people everywhere. Oh my, it's too much. But you had a whole back of the bus and it was nice and you had your cartoons on. I feel like I could live in there. Look bigger than my
Yeah.
apartment.
My shortest tour, my best bus. It just
Hmm.
it worked out. My bus company had a 12 bunk bus with a bedroom. So this time we had enough room with our crew, and I was able to take the back lounge, which is a bedroom they converted it into, and it had television. It had all the movie channels. I just literally put on cartoons. I watched American Werewolf in London the first night because we were staying in London. Just we were parked up, and then I watched Commando, and then it went straight into Conan the Destroyer, which was very awkward because later on in the tour, a fan brought me coincidentally a copy of Conan the Destroyer
Wow.
on VHS, the UK version. So I was like, you have no
Is
idea
that
how odd that was.
PAL or something?
This just a regular
Did-
VPRC. I
Let
don't
me see that
video.
now. Crack it
Yeah.
open. Is it open?
Let's see. I think it's a
Yeah.
regular VHS. I think it's just I
Maybe
just
it.
think it only plays on certain
Yeah.
players.
That looks like a regular VHS to me. Yeah.
But it was weird because I was just watching it the other day, and it was the scene where Grace Jones is fighting Will Chamberlain, and
Mhm.
that was a really good fight. And you can almost she's not really wearing any clothes in that. She's pretty much
No.
nude. She's
You
pretty
think
much
Will
nude.
Chamberlain hit that?
I know he probably tried.
Yeah. He claims that he's had like a million something,
Yeah,
right?
well, maybe that was a million and one.
Will Chamberlain is also known for scoring the most points in the history of an NBA basketball game. I believe 100, which is insane. Most teams are lucky if they score 100. And so he likes to brag about his numbers.
Yeah, well, I think he might have he obviously has an impressive number with the ladies too. So
It's a shame he missed out on the WNBA. How were the shows at this trip?
excellent. We did 4 shows. We did our first show was in I'm thinking back where I was. First show was a place called Chinnery's, I
Ooh,
believe. Yeah, Chinnery's, and it was on the sea. It was called Chinnery's South End, and it was on like the beach or the sea, but it wasn't a normal kind of beach because it didn't have sand. It was like gravel dirt, which I've seen a lot in Europe, which doesn't look like the most accommodating beach you want to walk across because it's dirt and gravel. But that didn't stop the kids. They were digging holes and burying themselves up to their necks in dirt, and
wow.
it was, and I've seen that before in this place called Brighton in the UK, which is near the water too. But it's just a really just rocky sand, I guess. But it was the area honestly looked like a combination of Coney Island and like Venice Beach. It was
Mhm.
really bizarre, and we were like right on the ocean side of that, and played a small like a 500 cap club. It was packed out, and it was good because it was basically we had a warm up show before the big festival show the following day on Friday, and that was at the Bloodstock Festival, and that's
Yeah.
like that's basically become as big as the Download Festival or what used to be called Monsters of Rock, and we were able to headline the second stage, which is it was really cool. I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like, how did this work out for us? But we were the last band of the night. We went on after Lamb of God in a tent that held. I'm not sure the capacity on that tent. I think it's 6 to 7,000 in the tent, and then plus you can stand outside, and it goes on and on as well. But Lamb of God finished at 10:20, and we went on at 10:40. And at 10:20, I looked out over the tent, and there was maybe 100 people there. When our intro started, it was completely packed, and there were people like just as far as you could see outside the tent. So everybody ran over, and we had probably the best UK festival show that I can recall as Wednesday 13. We played at night. We had a 75-minute set. Everything worked, and everybody was screaming for us like like they knew us. And obviously they did because they were singing the words. So it was a super cool show. It was cold too. I went over thinking it was going to be hot as fuck. And I wear a lot of different stage clothing and changing outfits, and that definitely plays into effect. But like this whole show, I'm like, going, man, this is awesome. I got to wear my long coat for like 3 songs because it was so cold. Normally, I'd take that thing off in like 90 seconds. But it was great. Killer reaction. Did a lot of press that day. Didn't really talk to too many people. Evan Seinfeld asked me if I had weed. I ignored him and said no, whatever. And the only person I saw there that I actually know and I'm friends with is Randy from Lamb of God. We go way back from years ago, and he's from Virginia. I'm from North Carolina. A lot of mutual friends, and got to say hello to him for a few minutes. But pretty much that day was just super busy press, and I just had nervous energy all day, and it took all day. We didn't play till 10:40, so it was like the longest wait. I'm just like, let's just get this over with.
Yeah. It sounds exciting, and it sounds like a fun way to kick off your birthday. Um, I tell you,
Definitely was a good. Well, definitely was a good birthday show. I could say that was a. I wanted to do something cool and big for my birthday. Not necessarily like to play on my birthday, but that was close enough, and I don't think it could have got any better.
no, I don't think so either. I'll tell you a quick Evan Seinfeld story that I don't think I've ever told. People might like it. Uh, Evan Seinfeld is from a band called Biohazard out of Brooklyn, New York, and they're reformed. I guess they were out there playing together. And Evan, he, I got to know him because for a little while he was in that adult industry, and he was dating an actress named Tara Patrick, who was particularly famous, and a friend of
Yep.
mine played with him, and he was dating another actress, and this and that. So I had Vinnie Paul was living in Las Vegas, and at that time, Evan Seinfeld was out here quite a bit too, and so I managed a band called Sin City Sinners, and we were trying to convince Vinnie Paul to play and to play a Pantera song. He had not played a Pantera song since his brother was shot, Dimebag. And I don't know, somehow I convinced him to do it. 2 nights in a row, we had him at Las Vegas casinos for this big jam. And so the special guest of the night was Joey Belladonna from Anthrax, and we had Paul Crook playing guitar, and Todd Kearns was playing guitar, and then Evan would come up and play bass on those songs. And so he said, "I'm going to see how I feel about the Pantera songs." And so the first night, he didn't do it. He played whatever was in the set list. You've met Vinnie Paul before, I'm sure,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
He
Yep.
was such a fan of glam rock. He loved Dokken, and he was one of the coolest celebrities that anyone could ever meet or know. He was gracious. He took time to meet people, but he loved that kind of music. And so the set list was probably all songs that stuff he was a fan of. The second night, we had a big riser up, and we had 2 ramps up the riser. It was basically Steel Panther's setup that we were using.
Right.
And that night he was going to do it. And so Evan said, I think I should sing Walk because I have more that kind of voice. He did and he didn't, but I think he had more of the look and the street cred to do it. It was kind of a big deal
Right.
to play a Pantera song at that point. So Paul Crook was on guitar, and Evan played bass and sang, and he did Walk, and it was pretty amazing. But a lot went into it. Vinny had bodyguards on stage because, listen, his brother was shot, and they were
Yeah.
trying to shoot him too. If he wasn't behind the drum set, maybe he doesn't make it. And so, it was he had these guards on the stage, and I think he felt really good. He thanked me afterwards, and he gave me the drumsticks that he played with. And I had known him for the longest time, but it was fun. And Evan ended up being a cool sort of part of this thing. Joey Belladonna, Evan, and Vinnie Paul, and it was something that we didn't usually do. And fortunately, I stayed uh, friendly with Vinnie for a lot of years. He died here in Las Vegas, and he came to see my band play on a Wednesday, and I think he passed away on a Thursday. It had nothing to do with my band, I'm sure. But and my friends were like, "Hey, you want to go say hi to Vinny?" Like some of the people were excited. I see him all the time. I'll see him next time. No big deal. And when he passed, I was so bummed that I called his voicemail because I knew I wanted to hear it one more time. When
Right.
somebody passes away, and his voicemail was very funny. I recorded it somewhere, but it was like he was playing a joke. Like he goes, "Hello, hello." And he goes, "I got you. I'm not here," or whatever. And Vinnie Paul was like Yosemite Sam, just this
Yeah.
character. And anyway, but I thought I would tell that story because I've never told those stories. Him and his brother Dime were just two of the coolest guys, and I'm sure Joey hung out with those guys too back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. I met Vinny during we were on a festival for like 2 weeks, and we were flying back and forth, and constantly we were talking. I would just run up to him, and we would just literally just start singing a Kiss song. I would just start any Kiss song, and he would just come right into it, like but air guitar in it, and so he was super cool. I met Evan Seinfeld back with Joey and Murder Dolls, and he couldn't been more of a rude idiot backstage to all of us. He laughed in our face and called us Oh, shout at the devil! Ha ha ha! Yeah! And we're like, get out of here, nerd.
He is known for that. Um, I don't know if he's cooled down, but yeah, he was a
Yeah,
big mouth, and he wasn't the most talented guy in the world either. I don't think that's a blabbermouth headline. So if you're
right.
going to talk that much shit, what I remember about him best is that he used to deliver from a pizza place while he was in Biohazard, and all my friends in Brooklyn knew that if you ordered a veal parmesan hero, Evan Seinfeld
Yeah.
was going to bring it to your house. I
Yeah, I
feel
mean,
like
like
he'll
I
be
said,
back.
I don't hold a grudge. I just only remember that story of him, and but he looks so different now. I mean, he's obviously got his health together, and dude's in shape. He's walking around in Richard Simmons shorts backstage at 9 in the morning. So you know what I mean,
He has
it
some
definitely doesn't look like something you'd say biohazard, but yeah,
no, he has some kind of thing that he does for males who are having
yeah, yeah.
suicidal thoughts and things like that. I think it seems to be a really a good cause and a smart thing, and so I'll give him
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure, like all of us in our youth, we had our moments and did things that rubbed people the wrong way. But I don't know that guy. But it's just odd. He was the first guy I saw when I walked off the bus, and because I was used to that one look of him, and to see what he looks now, like he literally, it was like what, and he's like
Mhm.
Mr. Health.
It's funny
Got your weed? No,
talking about age. When you're younger, I don't know, you don't think you're going to get old, or
you
you
don't
don't
even
think
you don't
what it's
think
going to be
about it.
like. Yeah.
No, fuck that. If I ever thought about being 50, I told you I always use that show 30 something as a reference. I remember being 12 and going, man, 12 more years, I'll be 24. I'm gonna be old. Oh man, that sucks.
Mhm.
Oh, 30 something. Who wants to be in that? Let's hope rock and roll kicks in full gear and I won't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah. You make decisions that you look back on. The one part about turning 50 or whatever age is that you do look back and go, I would have handled that differently.
Yeah.
Or I I regret this or that. I shouldn't say regret, but you do think I would have done things differently. I don't know. And the only good thing about getting older is that you have experience, and those
Yeah.
experiences do help you make better decisions. And most people learn from their past.
Yeah, I mean, you could. That's the only experience is what makes you wiser. I mean, there's things I look on now that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, total different view. The way I handle it or the way I think about it. Like I had an old manager that I had a really, years and years ago, I had a really bad falling out with. And it used to be one of those things where it was just like his name came up. Oh, it was just ruined my day. And it's like, I don't I don't even think about that anymore. And if I saw the guy again, it wouldn't trigger that at all. In fact, if I saw the guy again, I'd probably go up to him and say hello and we had a good run and I'm sorry things ended the way it did. But, 15 years ago, we would have, had a shootout.
Hmm.
Old school
I,
style.
I couldn't relate more. And there's people that I've worked with, that I've made amends with, that I've run into, and thinking like, oh, I hated this person. It's going to be so bad. And then I'm so glad that you had the time to go, who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It meant nothing. Why would we even think back to bad things? And I wish more people could make amends, because unfortunately, at some point, you don't get the opportunity. At
Not at
some
all.
point, everyone's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah,
And
and you get unlucky sometimes with, people pass and you didn't fucking get to say anything. So it's always good to think about those things and holding grudges and stuff it's just baggage I don't like. I don't like paying for baggage. I don't like baggage at all. Airports, I don't like it. Get rid of the baggage.
yeah, no, a lot of excess baggage. Yeah, I also unfortunately, in my age, I trust less. It's unfortunate, but you get burned so many times, and then you start to realize that there's types of people, and you go, "I know this type. I know exactly where this is
Right.
heading," and I just, I'm okay. I'm so fortunate to have Michelle in my life and met somebody who's normal, which is a rarity in this world.
Yeah.
And then I often think that sometimes humans are not pack animals. I sometimes think maybe we were meant to be loners, but then
Mhm.
somehow we all domesticated, and now we feel like we have to, share a bed with somebody or be friends with somebody every day. But when you find a situation that works, it's great. My friends trust, it's your birthday, so I'm going to say some nice things about you. Is that when I met you, you came on the show, and I said, "Oh fuck! Now I'm gonna have to read up on this murder dolls." I didn't really know that much about it, and I'm
Right.
like, I knew enough. But I'm like, well, what am I going to talk about? I told you, talk about Dawson's Creek.
Right.
And then even when you first came on, you had a hat on and sunglasses, and I go, "Oh, this guy's going to be one of those."
Mhm.
Um, but we had a good conversation, and you weren't one of those. And as you start to meet people who are like-minded, you go, "Wait a second." And same with bringing Sean in. We all have this fascination with pop culture and entertainment, and also living in the past.
And
None
we
of us.
speak the same language. We speak in codes. We can say something from a movie, and you and I will know what it is, and we just go with it. And then our ladies are at the time going, "Huh?"
They
It's just
start to speak it a little bit, but
yes.
it, but because they hear us say it. But like, if you're in a bad neighborhood, I'm gonna say roll them up,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
some people will get it, and some people won't. But so you go through life, and you only let so many people in. When you're young, you just trust everybody. Oh, we're all
Oh
friends.
yeah.
Everybody's my friend. At
Yep.
this point, if there's five people in my life I care about, that's impressive. And I'm not saying that it's the best way to live. Maybe I'm missing out, but I feel if you have a few good friends, some really good friends, then you're okay. I always worry when people go, "My best friend. That's my best friend. This is my best friend. That's my best friend. This," and I go,
Right.
"You haven't been burned. You haven't been burned yet. Give it time." And same thing in this industry, in the entertainment industry. A lot of people have different thoughts and competition, and at worst, jealousy. You run into so much people who are jealous of each other. I wish everybody well. I'm so happy when I see somebody do good. I'm the biggest Wednesday 13 fan there is now. I'm probably the oldest one too. But uh, when something good happens for you, I feel like, all right, this is great. I want to see it be the year of Wednesday 13. I want more people to discover what I've discovered.
Thank you.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I see more and more new people. There's a lot of new subscribers here saying that they're digging it and that they're turning it onto your music. And even if it's just sitting here and laughing about the foods we try, it's a
Yeah.
community. It's a community, and I'm thankful for every single person who tunes in and enjoys what we do, because this is the same conversation we would have on the telephone.
It is. It is. That's why there's people who go, "Man, you do that show every week. how do you have time? How do you work it in?" And I'm just like, it's the one time a week that I talk with my friends because I don't the old days of being on the phone and calling everybody, I don't do that anymore. I do enjoy it when I do. And you and I are one of the people that still do that. Like I talk with
Mhm.
you, I talk with my buddy Crazy Eddie, I talk with my dad, but everybody else is all usually text or when I see them in person. I
Yeah,
said I have a handful of close people that are super close with me, but I have a lot of acquaintances and a lot of friends, in the business and just traveling. And it's also really cool to go all over the world and run into people that know who you are. Like yesterday we were checking out at the airport, and I always fly Virgin Airlines if we can, just because it was a music label they seem to take care of bands or seem to care more about bands that are bringing equipment, and they're the best dressed. They have the best looking costumes or outfits, and they're always the nicest. And when I went up to the counter, and I'm always stressed out because I'm rolling up with 10 people and 30 bags, and I got to pay for it all. I'm the dude that pays for it. And I always go to the counter and I go, man, I hope I got somebody that's going to be cool. And I always come up with my Matthew McConaughey. Hey, how y'all doing today? How you doing? You sure do look nice. Oh, thank you. I didn't have to do that this time. I literally walked up and this lady goes, "Oh my God, I hope I'm not being weird, but are you Wednesday 13?" I was like, yeah. And she's like, I've been a massive fan of you since I was a teenager. I listened to Murder Dolls and I was just like, no way. It was like
You
she's,
know you're set. Yeah, you know you're in.
yeah. And then
The
like
bag will pay.
another lady came over from the time before and she's like, "Oh, I saw you guys come in and you guys are so cool." And we took photos with them and they were telling us about how they saw us on these TV shows the first time. And it's crazy. It's just I'm just really lucky to be able to travel and meet people and meet fans and meet, and like I said, I have friends in every part of the world. If I ever had to escape, I would say good luck finding me because I have
That
a lot of places I could go
that is one of the best things about a touring, traveling lifestyle, that you will have friends in all parts of the globe.
everywhere.
Maybe they're acquaintances or friends that you see on time to time, but people that you know that you stay in contact with, and you find people who have like-minded interests, and
Yeah.
bring out cool stuff, and it's a nice thing. And this medium, this internet medium, in this world where we're all watching each other, helps that community, because now we're reaching out to people. Right now, I don't know how many people are watching, but they're all part of this conversation, and maybe they're fans of your music, or maybe they're just fans of a conversation. And how many times do we meet people that say, I'm going through a hard time? In your case, your music got me through a hard time.
I hear that every day. I mean, every single day. I'm not exaggerating. If I'm on tour, I hear it in person almost every other VIP meet and greet that I meet. And they don't usually say it in front of everybody. They'll walk up and they'll privately hug me and they'll sincerely, they'll tell me with tears in their eyes, like, I wouldn't be here without your music. And when I first heard that for the first time, it took me back and I'm just like, you mean a song about Rambo got you through? Because I write silly songs, in my mind, but for people, that's not what it's about. It's that silly song got them through a serious thing that they didn't have to pay attention to. They got to exit their world, their real life, and put my music on, and it made them forget about it. And I hear that every day on tour. I get messages every day, and people telling me that. I mean, it almost to the point where I get it where I'm like, is someone copy and pasting this? But it's not the same message. It's like, I know you won't ever read this, but blah blah blah, and it's never the same script, but I see it every day, and it's usually like teenagers, like, I mean, not even 15-year-old kids writing me this stuff. And so music does help. And I think back to me too when I was 10 and 11 and listening to these bands. It got me through the same thing.
Your
I just didn't
song
get
Bad.
I just couldn't talk to them. That now it's like you can actually send a message. So when people write me on Instagram, whether it's two or three sentences and say something like that, you changed my world. I couldn't be here without you. I'll either say you're welcome or I'll hit a like or something. That's almost the equivalent of waiting outside the bus and shaking someone's hand now. That goes a long way. So I know it's important to even like one of those messages.
Yeah, your song "Bad Things" has become quite the breakup song. I hear people say it all the time. When you break up with someone you hate, you really want bad things to happen to them.
But I also have a song called "Die My Bride" that over the weekend I had 3 people tell me they got married to it.
See, it's well, you've got
So,
everybody covered
so
all
even though
around.
it's an evil, mean song, they still want to use it.
I
Someone said
think
they
that
got married to White Wedding, our cover of White
mhm,
Wedding, and then but mainly I hear people go, "Oh, Die My Bride's our wedding song," and I'm like, "Of course it is."
mhm. I think that this record right here. Sorry, the Joker and the Catwoman are standing on it.
Uh,
I think you got some deeper songs on this one. I said
you
that to you
do.
when you were making it, but there's a lot of these songs that I think people can relate to. A lot of them.
They haven't
I,
left the set list. I've been keeping the that pretty heavy in the set list. We at least do 3 or 4 songs off that record,
that's great.
and they go over just like the old songs, like the "Riding Away" song is goes over as good as any of my other songs now. So those are the instant classics. So I got really lucky with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and when I meet people, they when we first started doing the Wednesday show, it was about 5 years ago when I
Uh,
started doing these, and sometimes I wouldn't feel like doing it, so I wouldn't. And then people would message me and say, "Listen, we look forward to this, all week because we
yeah.
want the distraction." And then you started with me probably 2 years now that we've been doing this weekly
Hmm.
show, and there's people who they like the silliness and the conversation, and we've
They look
avoided.
forward to it the same way we would look forward to a new TV show the following week. You're like, oh
Mhm,
man, the best way I've always explained it is like this is like our little version of Howard Stern. Well, you and I
that's
are
right.
such Howard Stern nerds, and I still listen to Howard Stern. Like the other day, I almost texted you and sent you. I may have sent you a uh uh um the Sal and uh, Richard Christie doing their their pranks again. I
Mhm.
found another one of those, and it's just I don't know. It's cool. I've always there's a million things I wanted to be: a rock star, a comedian, a movie guy, a radio personality. So I get to do a lot of that stuff. And when we do the show every week, it's like our little version of Howard Stern. We got our own little whack pack of people
Mhm.
and friends that come in, and it's just and overall it's fun. It never feels like, oh, I got to do this. It's more or less,
Oh
if
no,
anything, it's ever, oh, I hope I got time to do this with our schedules, you know?
what the people tell me when I meet them is that this is the time where I don't have to hear about the real world. We don't
Yeah.
talk about politics. We don't talk about current events like that. I mean, it's meant to be lighthearted and silly, and everybody belongs. We can all be here, no matter what our thoughts are. We can all laugh at the same things and talk about important news. And important news, by the way, Wednesday, we've been
Hmm.
losing people left and right. A lot of tragedy in the world of entertainment. I'm going to start with Cooter. Cooter has
Yes.
passed. Um, I have to imagine the Dukes of Hazzard was a big part of your childhood.
Big time. But I read about it in England, and I came downstairs where there were like 15 people and they were all half English people. And I went, Cooter has left the building. And the only person that said anything was Troy. He went, oh shit, no. Nobody else knew what I was talking about, but yeah, I read that over the weekend. Cooter,
Rest in
another,
peace, Cooter.
yeah, he was what was he 81? I read, or
Yeah, and I think he'd been sick for a while. He opened these stores mostly in the South called Cooters,
and you
and they
went
were.
there. You did
I
this,
went.
yeah.
Made a video. It was really cool. I thought it might just be silly. No, they built sets of the Dukes of Hazzard, and you can take photos on the sets. They have mini museums of props and toys, and all the stuff brought me back to being a kid because I loved it as a kid.
It's
And
it was the
great
best.
merchandise.
Yeah, that was. I mean, every kid wanted a fast car, and they were just, they made it cool. They slid across the front of the car. They didn't have car doors. They could just climb in.
Incredible.
How many times I got in trouble sliding across the front of the hood of my parents' car or trying to climb in and getting yelled at, and screamed at, maybe
Cooter
later beaten.
and beaten. Yeah, Cooter. His name was Ben Jones. He was a politician, and oddly enough, he was a liberal politician, but he was
Mhm.
not against the Confederate flag. He didn't feel that banning the flag was doing anything to change it, and that while he wasn't for the message that having the flag on the General Lee should stay that way, which I tend to think also. Um,
I'll be honest with you. When I was a kid, I didn't know what that symbol meant.
right,
We thought it meant Dukes of Hazard. We thought that was
right.
like their Superman thing. It wasn't like, oh yeah, the South will rise again with these guys. Like
Mhm.
we didn't know any of that shit. We liked the action, and they were jumping over bridges and yeehawing, and it was awesome. It was like literally that was the coolest show.
Yeah, no, and I did a video where I said I don't even remember exactly what it was about. I know they were trying to outrun the law, and maybe there was some moonshine,
I
and
think Uncle Jesse did some moonshine, and then Boss Hog always had it out for them, and they would somehow work it out, and but they would somehow buddy up and with some of the group, because there was Roscoe who was always Boss Hog's right hand guy, but then you had Enos who
Mhm.
was kind of like he would help the Duke boys out. He wouldn't always set them up. He didn't necessarily like the way Boss Hog treated them.
I think Enos is still alive. I think
Yeah, and I want to say there was, but I'm getting it mixed up with Simpsons. They got Cletus, right? The slack
Cletus. Yeah, yeah.
Cletus, the slack jawed yokel.
Wednesday, I had this idea that maybe on a Saturday morning
Hmm.
we would come on here with the people and watch Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh,
Maybe we watch an
I
episode
do
of.
that every Saturday morning by myself, so why not? Let's
But now,
just,
yeah, now we're just including people. We'll have our cereal and our PJs, and we could watch the Dukes of Hazard cartoon series because they did have.
oh, I've got it on DVD here too, but we can find it on YouTube for sure.
Yeah, I think you guys let us know in the comments if you'd like to spend breakfast with us on Saturday mornings. We're going to bring it back.
That would be
But
fun, actually. I think that would be cool because I tell the lady I do I mean, I do it quite a bit, but on Saturdays, if I know it's a Saturday, I can actually look. Oh fuck, I purposely will watch Saturday morning cartoon. I think you're watching the same ones I watch because we talked
yeah,
about it. It's just like it'll be a block for like 3 hours, and it's all the commercial
with commercial.
breaks,
Hmm.
and it's all the everything. It's all the ABC, bumpers. After these messages, we'll be right back. And they had
One of
like the
my favorites.
little cowboy kid, and then they had all the. It was just I don't know. You feel like you were going into another world on Saturday, and you could escape the real world. Whether you were in school, then it was over with. I used to call Saturday Super Saturday. I thought my dad called it
Hmm.
Super Saturday when I was a kid. I thought it was like just some extraordinary day.
Wednesday to let people in a little bit on our texting relationship. So the other day you sent me this, right?
Yeah. Oh
Everyone knows that
yeah.
the more you know. And then
Yes.
and because you were making a point, and then I
Yeah.
responded to you with, and that's one to grow on.
And one to grow on.
Tutti. So you talk about talking another language. I mean, this is why we don't act our age because
No.
we're speaking this youth language. Another tragedy. Reggie Bannister has passed of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Phantasm movies. You've met him, right?
Yeah. I took a photo of it this morning. I put it back in the shelf, but I met he was one of the first horror people that I met. I did a horror convention in North Carolina in 2003, the very first one I ever attended or was a part of as a guest, and he was one of the people there, and they didn't advertise it, and I'm not even joking, it was maybe 200 people over a 3-day period and wasn't a good show for anybody, and I just hung out with Reggie and Leatherface, Andrew Bernowski,
Mhm.
and it was to the point where they were like, dude, go home and bring your guitars, let's jam. And I'm just like, I wish I would have done that now because I've read several things where Reggie would, he's a great guitar player, but
Yeah.
yeah, he wanted me to go to the house and bring a couple of amps and all this stuff. And I'm just like, man, I ain't doing all that.
Hmm.
I wish I would have now. That would have been another story.
Yeah. It's sad. I'd met him a few times. He used to host rock events. He used to do shows. Sean booked him, obviously, for a lot of years at conventions, and Sean was close to him. And so sad that we're losing these legends. It's a
Yeah.
fortunate part of life. But hopefully they lived happy, full lives.
Yeah, Reggie was super cool. I always went by and said hello to him at the conventions. I don't think he ever remembered hanging out with me, but probably because I'm a chameleon and I change my look all the time. I think when I met him, I had dreadlocks down to my waist and total different look. But yeah, he was always cool. And those Phantasm movies are just they're so underrated and so weird and just cool. He's definitely, if you don't know who we're talking about, look it up and give those movies a shot because they're excellent.
Yeah, definitely check out Phantasm movies. So anyway, that's is anyone else dead, or do we cover everybody?
Uh, I'm trying to think. I think that was the two main ones that were close to our world.
Come out of a upbeat number to do a death dedication, as Casey Kasem said. You know,
Yes.
I read these voiceovers for the videos, and I just curse like a sailor and get mad. And I literally am like a combination of William Shatner, Orson Welles, and Casey Kasem just screaming and yelling. Who would say that? Why am I saying that?
Yeah.
But I got a video that came out yesterday. No one's watching it, so I should mention it. It's about Bobby Driscoll, and he was Disney's
Okay.
first live action star. But he's the voice of Peter Pan in the movie cartoon Peter Pan, and he was also um, in Song of the South, which is a Disney movie that most people probably haven't seen. I've
Or
seen it. Have you
will.
seen Song of the
Yeah.
South?
I when we were talking about this last time, I'm pretty sure that my school went to see that.
Well, North Carolina makes sense.
Yeah, I think my school went to see it, or I maybe have went with my mom and my grandma. For some reason, I kept saying Flash Gordon was the first movie I ever saw in the theater, but I'm pretty sure it was that movie. Then Flash Gordon.
My first movie was definitely Star Wars. I was very young, but it was a great place to start. I did see Song of the South in the theaters. It probably was like around 81 or so. That was the final time it was re-released. I try to explain to people that before DVD, VHS, if you wanted to see a Disney movie, it would come back to the theaters every few years, and
Yeah,
that was the way you saw it. So, and at the time, no one really thought of it as being racist or controversial. It was just a movie. And as time went on, people found
well, they well
problems.
they also mixed like that movie was kind of. I mean, it was ahead of its time. It had
Yeah.
like animation in with the stuff basically pre Roger Rabbit, not as
Mhm.
detailed, but that was the first time because I'm pretty sure that's the one where he's singing Zippity Doo Dah, right? And the little birds are all flying around him, and they're all cartoons.
One of the sad things about the movie, quote unquote, being canceled is that you lost a great Disney song. Zippity Doo Dah was one of the best. Um, but
I mean,
what
that should
the
be our outro song when we say thank you, good night.
yeah, I'd be all for it.
Yeah,
When I go to Disney, I play Zippity Doo Dah myself on my headphones. I'm bringing it back. But
I
the
need to look
movie,
that up. I wonder if that's on Spotify. I wonder if the Melvins have covered it.
I bet. Um, I have a German DVD of it. It's only canceled in America. Other countries have no problem with Song of the South. Do I think that Disney Plus should show it? Yeah, I think they should put a warning on the beginning. The biggest argument about this movie is that Walt Disney didn't make it clear that this was after slavery, that the people that you see on plantations are allowed to go home at the end of the day. They're not
Yeah,
slaves singing happy songs. That was the problem with the movie. They needed to show the year because even Uncle Remus at the end of the movie, he says, I'm going home. Well, because
yeah.
and there was actually a line in the script originally where he said, I'm a free man, I'm leaving. And that was a good thing, but it didn't come across. Also, there's some of the cartoon characters that say things that by today's standards would be controversial. So they still show Gone with the Wind, which certainly has some issues in it. Dumbo has some issues too. You put a little warning on the beginning and you say, this was a different, when this movie was made, this was a different time.
Yeah.
By not showing things, you dare to repeat them. I think you have
Yeah,
to.
and yeah, you're making like you should. It should definitely be something said like that. Like, hey, this was made during a different time. View with caution, or
Mhm.
whatever you need. Like, don't just say, "Oh, let's burn this movie" and say it's never going to be seen again, because that's just going to make people want to go find it.
Uncle Remus won an Academy Award. His work, he was the first black man to win an Academy Award. That should be celebrated. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I,
yeah.
I think when you cancel this whole cancel culture, I'm hoping it's ending. I'm hoping we're getting over this bullshit, but it gets so crazy that people lose things, and again, then they'll just repeat them. But anyway, the kid in the movie, Bobby Driscoll, he's the star. He had this incredibly sad life. And when I was growing up in New York, I always knew about this place called Hart Island. And Hart Island was basically a pauper's grave. And if they didn't know what to do with someone's remains, they didn't know who it was a John Doe or a Jane Doe, they stacked them up in wooden caskets and they just kept building. There's thousands of people buried here. If a lot of children, a lot
Not
of
together. They
babies,
separate them, right? They don't like throw them in a bone. A
everyone
bone.
gets their own wood box, but they stack right on top of each other, like three deep.
Wow,
And I show some of what it looks like in that video, but um, a lot of children, stillborn, things like this, that's where they go. If you amputated somebody's arm or leg, that's where it goes, buried in this
man.
mass grave. And so when Bobby Driscoll was around 30, he went to there was a tenement in New York, an apartment building. Hard to believe. Now a rent is $4,000 a month in this tenement. And these two kids were playing. Back then, I guess kids played in tenements. And they found his body, but no one knew who he was. And so they ended up putting him in this grave on Hart's Island, a pauper's grave. And to think about how sad it was, because it was also a place when HIV became a thing and people were dying of AIDS, they would bury them there because they thought the bodies would be contagious. When COVID started, they
Oh
were
wow.
burying people there, and it's a sad thing. And they would have prisoners of Rikers Island, which was nearby,
Uh huh.
handling these burials. But anyway, I was always fascinated. I went and visited the apartment, and so I made this video, but nobody cares. I mean, I think either people don't remember. It might be the lowest views I've had in history. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Watch it twice. Um, and then I made a video about James Jamerson, who is the greatest bass player that most people don't know who it is. No one's watching that video either. Um, but Wednesday, you know this about when you make your music. You do it for you. I make these
Yep.
videos for me. If I
Yep.
wanted to make clickbait videos, I'd probably get a
Yeah.
lot more views. If you made sellout songs, you probably sell a lot more records. But to
Yep.
thine own self be true. You do
Yeah.
it for you first.
There's ways to, yeah, I've never thought that way. I mean, yeah, selling out and doing all that, that's the easiest thing to do. Um, but yeah, I don't think that way. When I make videos or whatever, I make them for myself. I hope people like them. Of course, you got little ideas and stuff, but I don't ever try to do any trickery.
Yeah, no trickery. And so I also like when someone learns something. When someone watches one of my videos and goes, "I had no idea." James Jamerson is the most recorded bass player. You know every one of the songs he's played on. Um, Heard it through the grapevine. It wasn't just the California Raisins. I can't think of a more famous bass line. Boom, 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 boom.
That's the first song I learned how to play on guitar.
Really? That's probably the
Someone,
first one I learned
so
on bass.
I had a guitar, and some guy literally said, I said, I don't know how to play guitar. And he was like, all right, well, put it in your hand. And I went, okay. He goes, all right, so just you hit it open, and on the third fret, hit it, and then go.
Hmm.
And he taught me that over the phone. And I went in the living room with my parents. Went, look what I learned how to do. Shh. And I thought I was cool, but that was the first thing I ever learned how to play.
James Jamerson was part of your life. By the way,
Yep.
before I finish about that, what about the good old days when we used to talk tab on the phone with our friends? You know, now you're going to hit a open here and then put your set finger here, and we're learning songs by talking to our friends.
Oh, I know. I remember the guy that taught me what tab was. I didn't. I thought it was just the drink,
Drink.
But he was like, "Oh man, you just put your fingers where those little numbers are," and that's how I learned how to play Faster Pussycat's first album because I had a tablature book, and
Me too. I have a
so
signed
yeah,
copy of that book.
it went from literally heard it through the grapevine was the first thing I think I learned how to play, and then I started learning the
Smash
Faster
Alley.
Pussycat. Yeah, Smash Alley. Yeah.
Great one. Um, so anyway, I wanted people to hear about Jamerson and they already know his songs and just like turning people on different things. He had a tragic story. We showed the house where he last lived and just gave some information, which is what I like doing. Now I understand that my audience seems to enjoy the rock and metal people. Kevin DeBro did really well and
Hmm.
Jeff Hanneman did well, and those are great too. I'm interested in a good story.
Right.
Doesn't matter how famous they were. I just like a good story. Now, I'm going to tell you an interesting thing. I made this video about Northern Calloway. He was on
Hmm.
Sesame Street. He had mental illness. People also tell me all the time they like that I talk about having depression, panic disorder. You've been honest about your life as well. I tell people that I see a therapist. I can't tell you how many people take me aside, like you said, they tell you quietly that it makes them feel better that, hey, I'm not crazy,
Right.
that other people are doing it too. So Northern Callaway had a really tough life. Well, I got an email the other day. This is the craziest email. I get a lot of weird messages. I don't even know where this guy got my email address to add to it. And I want to make sure I say this right. Let's see here. Okay. His name is Damon Evans. He messaged me and he said, I replaced Northern Calloway on Broadway. And Northern Calloway replaced Ben Vereen before him. And he said a lot of people didn't understand that he served in Vietnam and that he had severe PTSD. And that
Oh
was one of the
wow.
reasons that he was so messed up. And I was like, I wish I would have known that when I made the video. And he said that
Did you
he had
know he
gotten
was a Did you know he was a vet at all?
didn't even know he was a vet. No,
That makes
and
all the difference. Gee.
should be a major part of his story, and that's why he lost the Broadway role that Damon
Wow.
replaced him in, and struggled his whole life. And at that point, PTSD wasn't getting treated. Vets were screwed. You send them to this war, and people come home and
First
don't
blood.
know. First blood. There's no better example.
First
Um, uh,
blood.
uh, and so now I think we're getting better in treatment for people, or at least giving people time and help. But anyway, the thing that's fascinating about Damon Evans is I knew who he was right away, and he then explained to me who he was. Didn't matter. I already knew. He was Lionel Jefferson on the Jeffersons. He was the
Oh no
second,
way.
the second Lionel. Mhm.
Okay.
70 something episodes. And he was in Roots the Next Generation. He played Alex Haley, who was the author of Roots. And I told him about how when I went to school in Harlem, when they showed Roots, I knew I was in trouble. That at the end, I felt like I got to start apologizing.
Yeah.
But this guy really is a legend. He was also part of the Stonewall riots in New York. He really had such a fascinating life, mostly theater. But anyway, I invited him to come on. I think at some point he will. He's busy working on something now, but it's interesting how people turn up by this platform that we're on. You
Yeah.
never know who's watching, and yeah, it was just. But I was so cool for me because I grew up watching The Jeffersons. That was one of my shows.
Yeah. And I still people, even last week coming up going, "Oh, I watch you every week on the show with Jason and Sean, and we love watching you guys. It's our weekly thing." So, um, Yeah, people, the word's getting around.
Yeah, Sherman Hemsley was a closeted gay man his whole life, and it's fascinating because George Jefferson was like a tough guy, um,
Yeah,
and he never wanted anyone to know, and he was closeted, and he was also into prog music. He was a huge fan of like I can't even think
right.
of the bands, but like
The sugar.
experimental, like acid fusion rock and metal. Like you never would have guessed it. Yeah, George
I
Jefferson
bet
was
he would have loved the sugar.
he probably just missed out. Mhm. But but these are the things that I love about making these videos. I love hearing their stories, and when I go to the cemeteries, I love learning something new about somebody um, based on their grave and thinking about what it must have been like and just remembering these people. And I don't try not to do it in bad taste. There's some people who do it just for the click. I do it because it's something that I always was
Right.
fascinated. I've always been fascinated in death. On my 50th birthday, I told you I went out and got fittings for a casket.
Maybe I could go do that.
You might want to.
Yeah.
I could recommend a place. Wednesday, I went to ask you earlier. When you talk to your dad, do you tell your dad you love him,
Every time.
and does he respond?
Every time. We say it every
Uh-huh.
time. It's not weird or anything at all, but I tell him every time I call him.
I
And
broke my dad in. I would
yeah.
always tell him I love him. And he would go, "All right, talk to you later," and I kept
Yeah.
pushing. And then he heard me talk about it on the show, and like not too long ago, yeah, 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 I love you too. I could tell it's not that he doesn't mean it. He's just a
Right.
different. He just shows affection differently. But I'm fortunate that my parents are still alive,
Yeah.
and I try to tell them because it means more to me now than I ever thought it would. And I try to tell them both that I love them all the time. And that's what happens when you get older. You think about those things. You think about the memories
Yeah.
you make and the people in your life,
Yeah,
and that they're important.
I say it to my band and crew guys, and we end the tour. We're like, I love you. That's my family. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like, as I've gotten older, and my mom's passed, and when she passed, I told you a lot of it just like with anything, it shakes the family up. Most families, when somebody like that passes, it changes everything. My mom was the glue, so my when she passed, all the family get-togethers, all that kind of stuff doesn't happen the way it does now. So like my band and my friends and all this things that I do, that's like my family now. So when we're hugging each other at the airport yesterday, everyone's like, "I love you, man," and it's never weird or anything, but
Oh,
I guess 20 years ago when I first got into this and someone would go, "Ah, I love you," give you a hug. Like even just hugging people was odd for me because it wasn't a thing for me. Now I'm a hugger. I'll hug you and squeeze you to death.
I'm a hugger. I don't know if you saw the last episode I did. You probably didn't because you're on the road. But
I didn't
uh,
get a
my
chance. No.
my friend Jason and I were looking at the prices that celebrities were charging at conventions, and we came across Debbie Dunning. I think that's her name. She was on
Okay.
Home Improvement. She was the Tool Time girl,
Okay.
and she was a little expensive, but she had a thing in her price list that hugs were $20. So I thought, well, what kind of hug do you get? Do you get like hug grandma from the side and let me get out of here? Do
Uh
you
huh.
get a and she's wearing the little shorts and the tool time belt. So then I thought, what if you buy 5 hugs, right? And then so
Ooh.
you make a deal, like you go, all right, I'm going to take one 8x10 at this price. I'm going to take a photo at this price. She had like a script signed for like 1,000. I'm going to take $1,000 script and 5 hugs. I would think you're going to get a pretty good hug.
Right. Is it one long hug or is it like that's one? Take a breather. Come back to me. Soak it in. Step back.
I
I don't know. Maybe I should start selling hugs.
don't. You might have to. I don't have a straight face. I laugh. Otherwise, I would go up to her with the meta glasses and negotiate hugs. You know what I mean? Bring a calculator and then go like, so are we going to go right in or are we gonna, a shake
Right.
and then a hug? But I would laugh after the first hug. But I mean, if anyone's watching, you want to get a price list. But yeah, I'm a hugger as well. I feel like when the time comes and I drop dead, the people that I cared about will know I cared about them. There will be no one going, I should have. That you hear this the most. I've dealt with a lot of loss in my life. I should have said this. I should have let this
Right.
person know that. Well, I'm leaving it all on the table. No, it's all going to be there. There won't be anyone regretting anything. And hopefully I'll live a,
Yep.
a long time. But it gets scary. I will tell you though, Wednesday, once you get past this 50th, it's just like whatever. I feel like
Yeah.
50 to 59, it's all the same. 60 is
I hope
another one
so.
that,
I
that
hope so.
I think.
I'm not going into this feeling weird like I thought I would. So that's good. Very good.
You embrace it, and you know what? You become thankful for what you got and how much you've done, and
Yeah,
then
I
you
mean,
think about how much
how
more
can you
you have.
not be thankful without this with this thing? Like this is what 50 brought me.
Nothing says thank you better than that.
Then a
Wednesday,
Cobra Commander replica pistol.
I should show some of these things, and then I'll let you get going. We have a busy day tomorrow. Um,
Yeah.
Hold on. For those watching, thank you for tuning in. I hide things from myself. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm looking for it. Oh, John Teague. There it is. John sent me, and you have this. He sent me the Masters of the Universe lunchbox, and
Oh,
it is. I love it. I might have had this when I was
flip,
a kid.
flip, flip the other side because I don't have that one. That's the different one.
Really? I thought
Yes.
this is the one we were talking about. The
There's two
blue.
different ones. The other one, the front has He-Man and Skeletor fighting. If I could get to it, I would show you. You know what? Let me get to it and show you. I,
All
I
right.
have
Yeah.
I have this, and
Oh,
I'm positive,
interesting.
positive it's not the same one.
He's in the He-Man section. Wednesday next year, we'll auction off those house slippers.
I got them. I got my new pair.
I see. Yeah. Are they
Yeah.
labeled
So
outdoor,
so
indoor?
this is the one.
Oh
That's not
yeah.
the same one that you have.
No, that is
I've
Beastman.
never I've never seen the one that you have.
That is so weird. The thermos.
And the
Has seen
thermos,
better days. This one has seen better days.
Castle Gray Skull,
You're
Skeletor, He-Man being yeah. But I've
it,
never seen that version you have. So you've got a version that I don't see ever, or I would try to get it. But
how
yeah,
strange. Yeah.
yeah,
But it's always nice. So thank you, John. And then also Chris. Chris always sends me cool stuff. He found these cups, Jaws 50th
oh
anniversary. I
wow,
do, but what I like about it is they're Yankees cups. It has the New York Yankees. So maybe this was something they served at Yankee Stadium. And there's nothing I like
weird.
more than Jaws and the Yankees. So that's anyway. I thank Chris for sending that. He's the one who sent me my shrunken
Oh
head.
yeah, yeah.
We got to start growing our chia
We
pets.
need to. We
So
need to.
Wednesday, let's talk about the future. Official
Yeah.
Wednesday13.com. That's where you go to find out tour dates. So it's your birthday, you're home. What's next?
Mad Monster Convention next not this weekend but next weekend, North Carolina. So I'm going back to
Yes, I
visit.
wanted to go. My schedule got a little crazy, but I would have liked to gone home to North Carolina with you. But yeah, Mad Monster, people go check that out. You can
Yeah.
meet Wednesday, and
And
then
then I got a few weeks off and then we start our USA tour September 23rd. And on the 25th, our new album, the live album, will be out. So we did it just in time for the tour. So it worked out.
On Alive is a good title. I like that.
Yeah. A play on
And,
Kiss that people don't realize.
mhm. um, and then we'll try to go to Horror Nights. Maybe we were talking about maybe
Yeah. And then I
September.
made the big announcement that I'm playing with John 5. That news is out finally. So
Yes,
so
we
that will be
discussed it.
That'll
We
be
discussed,
next year.
yeah, we discussed it last week, and I said how happy I was for you and how cool it is, and how I think it's good for you and John. I think it adds something to John's show. Not everyone is an instrumental fan. John's great at it, but uh, and now adding songs from his career is very cool, and it's good for you to show different side of what you do.
It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. We're still planning. It's all in the early stages, so I can't really talk about it because there ain't a whole lot to talk about. But we got a lot of plans, and I'm excited.
Officialwednesday13.com. I marked down the Las Vegas show to see you play, and they're actually playing a lot of places that I like. I'm going to try to make it to more shows on this run. Are you
Yeah.
headlining that run?
Yes, all headlines.
Well, then I'm definitely going to come to more shows. So,
Yeah.
and
It's going to be good.
that is the news, the good news.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you get going. I thank everybody who tuned in. If you haven't seen my new videos, what are you waiting for? Go check them out. Give this one a like, a comment, and subscribe. I forget to tell people to do that. You know, the YouTube handbook, it says you've got to remind people to like,
Hmm.
comment, subscribe, or to become a channel member, or to go to Patreon. I forget that that's in the handbook. We're going to have so much to talk about next week. Are you around next week? You might be gone.
I'm gone next week.
All right. Well,
Yes.
after this, after we spend your birthday, we'll have a lot to talk about at some point. And I look forward to seeing you. And for those who are watching, we've already seen each other.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.
All right, guys.